Hey everyone, you may know me as Cynthia Loyst from The Social, but what you might not know is that I used to be a smoker. That's why I'm proud to be a part of Quitting Made Real by Nicorette, a new 6-episode podcast series I'm hosting featuring inspiring conversations with notable Canadians about their journeys to quit smoking. Quitting smoking was honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made, and it's possible for you too with the right tools and support. To find out more and to listen now, go to nicorette.ca/quittingmadereal.
Welcome to The Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, to The Social. We'd like to welcome back to the show comedian and content creator Carly Thorne, who is here with us. Welcome back. Great to have you. I feel like this first story was crafted just for you, Carly.
Definitely.
All right, help us out with this first topic because it seems like the internet is finally coming for the Gen Zers. I say Gen Z because we're in Canada, y'all. TikTok is roasting the younger generation for something that is being called the Gen Z stare, which looks a little something like this. It is this sort of blank expression. Instead of like a greeting or making small talk, you kind of just stare. And if it wasn't bad enough, they also apparently don't answer the phone with like words. For Gen Z, it's silence on both ends. No greeting, no hello, until the caller. The one who calls is the one who breaks the awkwardness. Carly, on behalf of your entire generation, what is going on with these behaviors?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. I'm so excited to talk about it.
I love it.
I do agree to a certain extent that there is a large subset of Gen Z that does not have social skills. Like, I do think we have to say that.
Can I acknowledge it?
Yes, there's a lot of people who don't know how to talk and have small talk. But the Gen Z stare is specifically, I believe, in customer service situations where they aren't able to talk to the people who are serving them, or if they're in customer service, they can't do it with the customers. And what is good about the Gen Z stare is that we were kind of raised, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Right?
Okay.
And a lot of times people are very rude in customer service. And I implore
Like the customer
you.
is.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I implore you, if somebody's ever being rude to you, just stare at them. It's
That's
awesome.
actually a good move. Yeah.
It's so good because they just have to listen to how mean and stupid they're being.
So this is self-defense.
I think it's self-defense. I think there's obviously a subset of it that's just lack of social skills. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from, that lack of
The
social
pandemic kind of cooking their brains, I think. Like they were
Anything to do with the screens?
Probably.
Okay.
I would imagine so. I don't relate. I will talk to strangers on the bus. But I do think a lot of people in my generation, because of the phones and because a lot of people didn't play outside when they were a kid. Like they'd play video games and the headsets.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to talk people face to face.
There's no interpersonal skills.
There's a lack,
Yeah.
I
definitely.
found the phone thing really interesting because we know we've done away with the landlines that many of us grew up with. And of course, the word hello, I think, was invented specifically by Alexander Graham Bell. Don't ask me a history, but as a word that you would use in order to start conversations. But this generation, they take a more antagonistic approach or a defensive approach. What I understand is they're saying is the onus is on the person who's calling to start the conversation.
I do agree.
And there is actually kind of a point to that. They say that also because the only time their phones generally ring is when it's spam callers. Yeah. So you need to leave that pause in order to figure out. So actually, I think maybe they are onto something.
No, but your phone tells you when it's spam.
No, but not always. Not always.
No?
That's a new
My phone
thing.
always
That's
does.
a
I just
very
don't
new
answer
thing.
if I don't know the number.
Yeah.
And I think that
calls anymore.
Yeah. Old people.
I can sort of see it now.
Old people do.
The next generation can kind of invent new things, and that's a new way of looking at it. I'm not mad about it.
You know what? I'm going to come to the defense of these young people. I'm going to defend you, even though I'm not from your generation. How are they supposed to know if no one's teaching them?
Yeah.
If they don't know, that means that someone didn't pull them aside and say, hey, this is how you do this. That's how I learned. I didn't learn by osmosis. I wasn't like some genius child who was like, this is how you answer the phone. I also had landlines, and it was forced on me because I had to talk to my friends. I'd have to actually call their parents' line, talk to Miss Susan for a few minutes, and just be like, yes, how's everything going? How's work? Before I could actually talk to my friend. So I just don't want to, really come down hard on these kids. And if you are having a hard time, there's actually a guy that I saw on TikTok who's handling it perfectly. His handle is called Raising Boys to Men. Take a look at how he teaches his young boys.
I want you to show me how you'd ask for your friend to come outside, right? you're meant to say something. You're meant to say, you're asking for someone to come out. I don't need to speak.
Yeah. Right?
So cute.
So it's a perfect example of like,
Teach.
And he's giving the example. It's like you don't realize they don't know. You really do have to hold their
I love
hands.
that example, but like I have taught, like I'm gonna call myself out. We've watched our son Jaya use a knife and a fork he's 12 years old now. He's terrible at it, just terrible. And I'm just like, Jason and I are constantly like, this is how you do it. And he gets mad and he gets defensive and whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? I've given up. There are no etiquette class anymore. At some point in time, somebody, maybe a future date, will shame you, and that's when you're gonna learn how to do it. What can I do?
Listen, I do want to say
You're
this.
leaving it to some single woman to do the work, Cynthia.
I don't care. She
I
can
don't like it.
I have
Don't
to say
like
this.
it.
I'm going to circle back because I think there is some blame to be put on parents. I am part of the generation with an 11-year-old that we thought that unleashing this massive, untested social experiment called smartphones on our kids, we thought it was going to end up okay. And we're learning the hard way. It's not okay. The kids are not all right. And this is one of the social crises of our time. There has not been, if you've grown up with a screen in your face, you know, the thing that breaks my heart most, and I'll say this because I was guilty of it too, is walking with my child in a stroller, holding a phone.
Oh my gosh, it's so sad.
And your child is looking up at you. They have actually looked at how children are delayed in being able to recognize smiles, in being able to recognize sadness. There are delayed social cue development because we're all got our face buried in our phones. So when we look at the Gen Z stare, the Gen Z stare, to me, it's just an extension of this. So I'm trying to take back control. I'm trying to take responsibility for what I thought was going to be okay, and I'm learning the hard way. It's not okay. So this whole summer is Marquez's summer of independence. She's been learning how to go and order things and buy things for herself at the counter. She's going to do self-checkout by herself. Wow. She's making her own lunches. She's calling her own friends to organize play dates. Like, I hate to say it, it's old school, and it works.
That's amazing.
It works.
You know what?
Yeah.
Would you? I love that you have Marqueza doing all that. If she has any extra time, can you get her to call Jaya to teach him how to use the knife? Maybe he'll hear it if he hears it from a peer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm looking out for Jaya.
That's a good idea.
And
Thank you.
Future partners. Okay, so let's move on. Ladies, hold on to your seats. This next topic is going to get some people really riled up. All right, so ex-NFL star Jason Kelce has recently revealed that he needs his wife, Kylie, to nag him into doing chores around the house. Explaining that he responds well to nagging because without it, he can, quote, get lost in my own thoughts and forget to do things. Must be nice. So how do you feel about nagging your partner?
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on tight, okay? What I'm about to say does not apply if you are a man who is pulling your equal share at home, okay? This does not apply to you. To every other man out there who isn't, I am so sick of men playing dumb at home. I'm sick of it.
Weaponized incompetence.
Weaponized incompetence.
The reason why I'm
Weaponized
so sick of
incompetence.
this is Jason Kelce has proven that he is an elite athlete. He's a Super Bowl winner. He knows how to manage millions of dollars. He can do so many things outside of the home. And all of a sudden he's at home and he's like, oh, I daydream and I forget to take out the garbage. I'm sorry, Kylie is already raising 4 little ones under the age of 7. He's now the 5th child.
Yeah.
The best way, if you don't know how to be a good husband, if you don't know how to be a good man, I'm gonna give you a PSA right from the social, okay? The best way to support your partner is to pull your equal share at home. That's it. God, it's not hard. It's not hard.
I'm so curious.
I think we should actually celebrate this. Cynthia! Go with me for a minute. I know this comes on the heel of what I was saying before, but no, the traditional thing is that men would complain about their wives nagging, and he's actually saying, no, bring it on. I'm actually happy. This is progress. It may not be the exact progress that you like. He's actually not calling her the wife and whatever, and I'm so annoyed and she's so nagging me.
But does it matter that she has said, I don't want to nag you?
Fair. I just think that there's something to be said for the fact that, like, I was raised with, and I love you, my mom, but she was a nagger, right? And I decided that when I went into my adult life, I was like, I never want to nag. I don't want to nag myself. I don't want to nag my partner. It creates a lot of tension in the home. I don't want to do it. The thing is that Jason also doesn't nag, so both of us end up, nothing gets done half the time.
So somebody needs to nag.
Somebody needs to nag us. It might end up being Jaya.
It's gonna be Jaya.
And I'll take a moment for the I don't know that this is the case in this, but there is something called the ADHD brain. And I think we don't spend enough time with people who are neurodivergent and understanding how easy it is to get highly distracted.
You think that's him?
I don't know.
Maybe.
It might be.
No,
it might be.
maybe.
And I don't think we talk enough about this. We've come from this world where we equate like cleanliness with godliness and order and all this
But
stuff.
what if mom also has ADHD, but she has no choice but to do the thing?
Then the children are in trouble,
I
baby.
agree. And I think it's good to give people grace. And if you like to be nagged, then go for it. Great. I have ADHD, and a part of ADHD is called rejection sensitive dysphoria, which means if you get rejected, it feels a lot worse than it actually is.
Okay.
So if somebody says, hey, can you not do that? You left your socks on the ground. I hear you hate me.
Really?
And you don't want to be with me. So if I were to get nagged, it would stress me out a lot more. And I also don't like nagging. But I agree, it could work for some people. But if my partner continually nagged me, I would just think that he didn't like me.
Yeah,
that he
we
didn't
would
like me at all.
collapse.
Yeah.
Now I just want to put you in my pocket and hug you.
Don't nag her.
The UK government says it's going to be lowering the voting age down to 16 in time for their next general election. This is a major, major change to their democratic system, adding an additional 1.5 million eligible voters. So they say this is all to bring more fairness to teens. Teens are already working, paying taxes. They can serve in the military as well. So should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote there? But also, should they be allowed to vote here?
What do you guys think?
Oh, really?
Okay, we have some no's, we have some yeses. Okay, so I say yes, and the first person I thought about was climate activist Greta Thunberg. Do you guys remember her? She was 15 years old, and she started a climate activism protesting outside of her Swedish parliament. The following year, when she was 16, she led the biggest climate protest in history. 6 million people across 150 countries joined her, and I remember covering that story. And prior to that, I'm embarrassed to say, I thought most 15 and 16-year-olds were not thinking about anything political and didn't know what was going on with the world. And when she came on the scene and I saw all these young people galvanized behind her, I'm like, I'm in the wrong. They really do care what they know, and they care about what's going on. And I'm thinking if those young people had a chance to vote so that they can change, because they're concerned about their future, it would have been the greatest thing. So I'm thinking, yes, we obviously have to have 16-year-olds.
But don't you feel like
they're more in tune with the world than we think.
Don't you feel like she's an exception to the rule? She's an exceptional human being.
But she wasn't by herself. She galvanized millions of people around the world.
I guess, am I the only one on the other side of, like, I'm kind of a no on this one. I feel like, okay, you're with me too, thank you, thank you. I just feel like, first of all, 16-year-olds, they have limitations on some things that they can do. You're not allowed to like have access to alcohol, gambling, spicy
But you can drive.
content. I know you can drive, but there's a reason why they're not allowed to do certain things, because there's a thinking that maybe they haven't developed, their frontal lobe isn't fully finished yet. There's still some ideas.
So why are they allowed to serve in the military?
Well, that is a great question. That's not what we're talking about today, though. But I just wonder if it's like to me, the people who would be most politically engaged at that age are being highly influenced either by their parents' politics, or I worry about populist ideologies, because hot takes are what fire up TikTok. We know that. And so you're going to end up with more divisive rhetoric. I feel like this is actually going to lean not left, but right. And finally, I will just say we have 50% of people who didn't vote in the last election. Yeah. Why not work on getting them engaged instead of focusing on younger people?
I would argue that the difference between 16 and 18 is not that much, because your frontal lobe develops when you're 24, 25. So if we're letting 18-year-olds vote, I don't think that it's that different to let a 16-year-old vote. And I wonder if, fingers crossed, because I also agree that the people that don't vote, those statistics are terrifying to me. It's like voting is a privilege, and to not do that because you're busy is wild to me. Maybe if we engage people from a younger age, they'll want to do it more.
Hopeful. That's hopeful.
And you know,
hopefully.
And speaking to your point of influence being impressionable, which absolutely is a risk, but couldn't it go the other way? There are a lot of young people who are engaged because the topics that older people are trying to pass, in legislatures affect them. Climate change affects them. Mental health reforms affects them. Education reforms, that affects them directly. And if they're in a household where they're engaged but mom and dad aren't, that kid could actually be the one who says, you know what, mom and dad, why don't you care? This is about our lives together. So it could actually work the other way as well.
I love your sense of hopefulness. I just feel like the flip side, that's amazing. All that stuff is amazing. The flip side of that, we have this crisis of masculinity. Anyone who watched the show of Adolescence has talked about how males are increasingly isolating themselves. They can be more self-radicalized online. And so I'm just worried about what the influx, somebody who would be a passionate voter at 16.
But is it fair to paint all of those young people
No,
with that brush?
I'm not at all. I'm just telling you what I might be concerned about is that, like, why? I guess my biggest question is why?
Okay, should the biggest question be where has this happened and what has been the result?
Yeah.
Austria did this in 2007. They are reporting across the board 0 downsides. Voter turnout is up, engagement is up. There is no downside that someone has pointed to yet. Yeah. And I just think that if you can ask a young person to put their life on the line in the military at 16.
Well, that's a good
in
point.
Canada, it's technically 17, but you can actually enroll earlier with parental consent. But if in the UK,
You're not even allowed to go to most spas until you're 18.
Yeah. Anyway,
I
you can't
they're
watch
already
certain
paying
movies.
taxes. They're doing a lot.
Driving is wild. Cars are so big, you're basically driving a tank. Like if you're 16, and they do not think they can die. Like the way
wild.
16-year-olds drive is horrifying.
Yeah, I think we can
Let
give them
them
more
vote.
credit.
Let them vote. Let them vote.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, we're moving on to this. Who's one person that you would love to get relationship advice from besides me? The question is, could it be Nick Cannon? Well, guess what? Apparently that's coming our way that we didn't ask for. The father of 12 is launching a podcast aimed at answering all of your burning questions about dating, sex, and fatherhood. So what do we think about people taking relationship advice from Nick Cannon? Carly?
I have my hot take is that the people who want to give relationship advice should never give relationship advice.
Wrong take.
I think it's like being the president. I think you're a better president if you don't want to be the president. I think
It's like the Pope.
It's like the Pope. It should be the person who doesn't want to give relationship advice. Because my guilty pleasure is relationship advice podcast because they're always wrong. It's always like check his phone, girl. See what's going on. Confront him.
Oh, I agree
It's
with you.
always
There's
like
a lot of bad takes.
faith, never open communication. It's never like just be normal. Like that's my relationship advice: is be normal and talk to the person in a normal way.
I think he's a marketing genius. We talk about Nick, and what's the first thing that comes to mind? This kid, by the way, since his teens, he's been on the stage doing different shows. But when you think of him, what do you think about? The 12 kids. You think about all the relationships. You think about Mariah Carey. Who better to talk to or listen to a fun relationship, not a very serious relationship podcast, than Nick? He's been engaged several times. Him and Mariah were celibate, and they got married after dating for 2 months. He's had a whole bunch of different girlfriends, including Kim Kardashian, Christina Milian, all of these different people. I want to hear what he has to say. What he needs on that show is to make sure he has an expert beside him to go, okay, thanks for sharing that. Like Cheyenne Bryant, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, we had her on the
maybe
show.
not.
That'd be a nice little balance, but he's fun. I also love that he doesn't take himself too seriously. He knows he's living a very unorthodox life.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm like, I want to hear it. He's also funny as hell. I would listen. Personally, I think it would be fun.
it would be the disclaimer.
If it wasn't like, what's a successful relationship podcast, right? Like, is it about marriage? Is it about long-term
And who's supposed to give that
healthy
advice? The
relationship
person who married their high school sweetheart? Do we want to hear from that person?
I mean, if the podcast should just be about how to pull Mariah Carey, I would listen if it was
I would
just how to
listen.
pull Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that worries me is, like, I think the disclaimer should be for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, I mean, no one's taking it seriously. For entertainment value, that'd be great to listen to for entertainment value. My only concern is if you're going to be sharing a lot of personal stories, which we would assume he would, are those women and those children giving consent? Because there's going to be a lot that he's going to spill out there. So it's great entertainment for us, but he's talking about real lives. So I would just put that disclaimer. Nick, call us. We'll guide you through.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we got you.
I won't say hello when you call me. Once you say who you are, then I'll say hello.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Very good.
All right, well, Gwyneth Paltrow, she's at the center of a bombshell new book called Gwyneth, the Biography, where author Amy Odell dives into the life of the Hollywood icon, focusing on aspects that have not been made public until now, from her star-studded dating history to the choices that she's made in her somewhat controversial wellness career. There's a lot in this book. So there's a lot getting already leaked to the public before the book is officially out. Anything catching your attention, ladies?
I really want to know what happened between her and Winona Ryder more than anything. More than anything, especially because.
Can you give any background?
Yes. So with Shakespeare in Love, which was the role that Gwyneth Paltrow won her Oscar for, the classic narrative before this book was that she was reading the audition with Winona, like practicing lines, I believe, and was like, "This script's actually pretty good," and then talked to her agent, and then auditioned, and then got the part. In the book, they're alleging that Gwyneth actually got the script from her agent and turned the movie down, and that the rumor was something that Winona started. I want to know what the actual thing is, because I love stale drama. Like, both of them are doing fine. You know, like both of them are doing fine.
Drama.
It's
That's
been
really
decades.
funny.
It's decades. They're probably over it. I feel like if you talk to Winona and we're like, "Did you make that up?" She'd be like, "Yeah, listen." So I want to know what happened. I really, really want to be a fly on the wall there.
Yeah.
Similar time period, I'm interested in the stuff that she apparently talks about to do with Brad Pitt, or she doesn't talk about, that the author talks about. Particularly the story about how, so Gwyneth apparently was offered the role in Feeling Minnesota alongside Keanu Reeves. At the same time, she was offered the role on Seven, which we remember with Brad Pitt. So she says she was talking to a friend. She's like, "Which one should I choose?" And her friend said, "Well, who do you want to date, Keanu or Brad?" And that's how she made that decision.
It's a win-win, baby. It's
so
a win-win.
She ended up doing the movie. We all know. Then they ended up dating. They were together for a while. But then the relationship around the time of, it was Emma, actually.
Oh, Emma, yeah.
She told somebody on the crew, I think, that she had a crush on Hugh Grant. And that some of the things, and again, who's this crew member that she was just like shooting the stuff with? She said that Brad and I had very different upbringings. So when we would go to restaurants and order caviar, I had to say to Brad, "This is beluga, and this is," I don't even know how to say this word, ostra.
Oh, yeah.
Like basically, he wasn't cultured enough for her, is the rumor. And that's how it ended.
That's keep that to yourself.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You think the crew member's gonna be like, yeah, the caviar.
He didn't know caviar. Get rid of it.
They're like holding the booth.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
I know. I'm interested, and I'm reading for this story alone. Apparently, the relationship with Gwyneth and Madonna went south on a vacation that Gwyneth was on with her then husband, Chris. For some reason, Madonna knew where they were. She invited herself there, and then had a dinner, and then everybody was at the dinner. And then she gave a speech and spoke to her daughter, Lourdes, so horribly that it offended Chris and Gwyneth to the point where they're like, "We can no longer be friends with this person."
Wow.
And I want to know, well, what did Madonna say to her daughter? Because I've been around friends when they reprimand their kids, and I'm just like, "That's your business, that's your child." But it's never come to the point where I'm like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be your friend." What did Madonna say? And you know Madonna punches back, so I'm waiting for Madonna's response, because you know she's gonna say something.
Yeah.
You know she's gonna say something.
It's gonna get juicy real quick. I almost forgot they were friends. I forgot a lot of these things, right? Oh my gosh. I think for me, I think the lasting legacy for me and Gwyneth, which I'm going to be interested to see if they even touch upon in this book, is we know that she's become so huge with her Goop empire. And her website was she was like the original celebrity wellness influencer.
Definitely. Yeah.
And since then, everyone's got all kinds of stuff that they're hawking on the market. But she was in particularly so influential because she was peddling a lot of pseudoscience that not only hurt women, but I think it also swindled so many of us out of thousands, millions, multi-millions of dollars. And since then, I don't think the industry has recovered where women at vulnerable times in our lives are peddled nonsense for the sake of a sale. And I think she kind of started that trend. We remember the jade egg up the vagina.
Yeah.
She was sued up the wazoo for that.
Yeah.
And there were doctors yelling. We know the name, we know the name Dr. Jen Gunter, who's an amazing Canadian OBGYN. She became famous for taking down Gwyneth Paltrow's pseudoscience off of Goop. And I don't think we've recovered from that. So I want to see how they handle that. So we have all these lovely things to say about her, but I think she's hurt a lot of women. So anyway, Carly, speaking of women, we love having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.